Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Here's the headline from the Crypto Basic. World's first spot XRP ETF debuts in Brazil. Is US next? Oh, folks, you'll love to see it. If you've been wondering if perhaps when you purchased XRP, whether or not it was a good decision, just know that the rest of the world emphatically is stating yes, as evidenced by so many damn things. And this is all, it's just like the timing of this is so freaking perfect. XRP gets legal clarity. We get a change in administration here in the United States. Pro-crypto now, finally, and the largest capital market on the entire damn planet. We've got all sorts of stuff lined up. And so it's not surprising that XRP has been catching up ground in the markets. It's not surprising that XRP is literally the #1 performing coin in crypto out of the top 100 coins by market cap since the election. It's not surprising that the most institutional money, if you're looking at the top 10 coins, the most money over the last few weeks has actually been pouring not into Bitcoin, not into Ethereum, but into XRP. It's not surprising that markets, new ways to invest and get exposure to XRP have been popping up all over the entire damn planet. Futures markets, ETF here, obviously. Trusts popping up all over the world. It's because there's demand for these investment vehicles, which are XRP-centric. So yeah, if you were ever wondering, did I make the right choice buying XRP? Well, just know the rest of the world thinks it makes sense. This is the coolest damn thing. And, the only thing that's kind of disappointing to me, just because, and this is because, fine, little ethnocentrism here, I happen to live in the United States, and I wanted my country to have the first ETF. But I'm very happy for Brazil to have done this. It's fine. It's very well good. But if not for the Biden administration and Kim Jong-Gensler, there would have been an XRP ETF years ago. And the price of XRP, by the way, if not for all of that crap that we dealt with the last several years, today the price of XRP would be higher than it is right now. But the good news is, since XRP is actually valuable, the world's figuring it out. The world is healing and price is catching up. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. And so quickly to remind you, since I did mention at the outset of the video, that there have been a ton of new ways to invest in XRP popping up all over the damn planet, let me highlight a couple of the most recent ones that have popped up. And I'm going to be brief on this because I did have more in-depth videos, but I just want to make sure that people at a minimum are aware of this. Here's a headline from just a couple days ago. Top pundit raises concerns around XRP futures contracts on CME Group. And they're covering this post from, well, there are a couple posts here. This is the primary one where I move my mouse right here, from my fellow XRP YouTuber Crypto Eddie, and she was highlighting something that I pointed out, which is yes, and this is great, by the way. CME launching futures contracts for XRP, fantastic, happy to see it. Like I've said before many times, these are the types of investment vehicles that exist in traditional finance. It makes sense that they would come to crypto and specifically to XRP. This can spur interest in XRP beyond that. The negative here, if you want to find one, is that XRP is actually not used to purchase or settle the contracts. And so Crypto Eddie in part was saying, hey, that's one thing it would be nice if you could do. Maybe that does happen in the future. I don't know if it's going to happen. It's still a net plus, obviously, but it's certainly nowhere near as exciting as an ETF, because an ETF is actually backed, if it's an XRP ETF, it's backed by actual XRP. So customer buys the ETF, and then the company that sold the ETF to the customer, that company, that investment firm, buys the XRP and holds it. So it materially impacts the supply and demand dynamic. So you have way more people jumping into the XRP ecosystem than otherwise would, because there are a boatload of people all over the planet that aren't like you and me, and they have no interest in setting up a Coinbase account. They have no interest in really learning about crypto. They just want some exposure. They have no interest in in-depth looking into maybe even the XRP ecosystem itself. Maybe there's some broad exposure. And they have no interest in learning how to, have self-custody of XRP or any crypto. And that's fine. If they're not into it, maybe they will be in the future. If they're not into it, though, that's just fine. I'm just glad that they can at least get exposure, and it's smart of them to at least diversify, obviously. Except for with this ETF, look at this. You remember this headline from April 8th? First XRP ETF in the US to go live on Tuesday with launch of Tucrium's leveraged fund. So we did have the first US ETF here, but it's not a spot ETF. So this actually, yes, it's an ETF, exchange traded fund, but it's not backed by XRP. It's a leveraged product. So a bit more risky than just buying and holding XRP. You can get wrecked playing with this type of thing, but there's a market for it, and that's fine. If you're one of the people that wants to engage in something like this, go for it. It's not for me. Futures markets, not for me. I just like to buy stuff and hold. But again, there are all sorts of people who do have interest in this, and it's on the whole good for the XRP ecosystem. This type of stuff, again, exists in traditional finance. I'm all for it here. So what we've really been waiting for is the first ever spot XRP ETF, and it does now exist. It just happens to not be in the United States. But I'm still glad that this has happened. And so here I have the headline from Crypto Slate. First spot XRP ETF issued by Hashdex begins trading in Brazil. And this just happened, folks, on Friday. The first spot exchange traded fund tied to XRP in the world, issued by Hashdex and managed by Genial Investimentos, began trading on April 25th on Brazil's stock exchange B3. Listed under the ticker XRPH11, the ETF tracks the NASDAQ XRP Reference Price Index and, according to Hashdex, will allocate at least 95% of its net assets to XRP. Folks, that's what I'm talking about. That's what the hell I'm talking about. That's exactly why we want to have XRP ETFs, tons of them in the United States. Oh, and they're coming. Like, don't get me wrong, they're going to be coming in the United States. And the amount of money that's going to flow in is going to be completely redonkulous. In fact, actually, let me mention this before even reading more of this. So this Tucrium XRP ETF in the United States, the leveraged ones, it's not spot, but it's in the United States. This is one of the most successful launches of an ETF in history. It's in the top 5%. And it's not even the spot one, and it's still in the top 5%. Isn't that astonishing? I've reported on that multiple times recently because it's worth repeating. That's cool. That's because there's so much freaking demand for XRP. Like, it's just amazing stuff here. And so now imagine a ton of firms with XRP ETFs all gobbling it up. They've got customers buying the XRP ETFs, and then the firms are buying the actual XRP and custodying it themselves. Think about the reduction in available supply. Think about that demand. Seriously, that increase in demand. So that's why I always say, over a span of years and decades, it's hard to overstate the degree to which this will amplify the price of XRP. Way greater demand than there would otherwise be. Again, very hard to overstate the significance in the long term. Easy to overstate it in the very short term. Hard to overstate the importance of this over a longer time frame. It's going to be like a boatload of money just flowing into XRP that would otherwise not be there. Way less XRP available at the lower prices. It's going to drive price up. It absolutely, unquestionably will. Very materially, on a global scale. Anyway, piece continues. The introduction of the fund marks Hashdex's 9th ETF launch on the Brazilian exchange. The asset manager might use direct or indirect holdings, futures contracts aimed at replicating the index's performance, or other financial instruments that reflect the price of XRP as defined by NASDAQ's benchmark to give exposure. The launch expands Hashdex's single asset ETF offerings on B3, which also include products based on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. According to Hashdex's chief investment officer, Samir Kurbej, the fund aims to attract sophisticated investors, including institutions looking to build crypto portfolios on Brazil's equity market infrastructure. He added that the ETF aims to expand investor access while aligning with regulatory guidance on fund safety and transparency. Now, folks, check this out, though. So he's talking about institutional money. I've been talking about that quite a bit recently because, hot damn, there's some interest in XRP on the institutional side of things. Check this out. They're even mentioning this, and I made a whole video talking about this because I got all hot and bothered about it. Very, very excited by this because XRP is winning. XRP was supposed to go to zero, I was told, and I just held it anyway for years and years and years while I was getting attacked by the United States government. And now everybody's just plowing money into it. Yeah, I get a little bit excited about that. Can you blame me? Anyway, so XRP-related exchange-traded products, ETPs, registered $950 million in assets under management as of April 18th, as CoinShares reported. And I've been sharing data from them. Additionally, check this out, XRP funds registered the strongest weekly inflows among other crypto-related ETPs last week, with $37.7 million allocated. Folks, that's the report that I've shared in a couple videos now. And the week before that, XRP was up 3.4 million, which doesn't sound like much, but that week, if memory serves, Bitcoin was down like 751 million and XRP was up 3.4 million. And then the next week, XRP's up 37.7 million and Bitcoin was still down, I want to say 6 or 7 million. Don't hold me to that, but I think it was something like that. I've reported on this anyway. So do you see the interest in XRP? It's not just you that thinks it makes sense. And so this whole ecosystem, it continues to get built out. It's just incredible. So now imagine another 5 years out, another 10 years out. The prices we have now are going to look like nothing. So congratulations on being early. Like, it just couldn't be more opposite. Less than 1% of humans have ever held XRP, and it's already hit a new all-time high of $3.40 this year, with almost no humans and no serious money flowing into it yet. I mean, if you consider all the serious money that exists. You know, the big money out there on an institutional scale. And it already hit $3.40. Like, this can go way, way, way higher, folks. As long as it continues to be useful, I think that it will. It's a good time to be an XRP holder. We've been through a lot, but now we're getting ours. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.